What if I told you there exists a way to raise children with deep spiritual values in the midst of this materialistic age, without isolating them from the world, without constant preaching, and without forcing religious practices upon them, and that this transformation can begin within 24 hours of applying a simple inner command? What if the most powerful spiritual education you could give your children has nothing to do with what you say, but everything to do with who you are becoming? This is not magic nor wishful thinking. It is spiritual science applied to the sacred art of raising souls in human form. As Paramahansa Yogananda, I have witnessed the struggle of modern parents trying to pass on eternal truths to children surrounded by materialism, instant gratification, and endless distraction. Yet I tell you, it is not only possible but inevitable that your children will absorb spiritual values if you understand the laws of consciousness transmission and apply them daily with sincerity. If you are ready to activate this transformation and align with the highest frequency of spiritual parenting, comment below, I unite with the divine and my reality transforms. This is not a request but a declaration, a command that activates the vibrational shift within your entire family system right now. The challenge facing parents today is unlike any previous generation has known. In my time, when I was a child in India, spiritual values permeated the culture. Every home had a shrine, every elder spoke of God, every festival carried sacred meaning. But in the modern world, and especially in the West, where materialism has reached unprecedented heights, children are bombarded from morning to night with messages that contradict spiritual truth. Television, social media, advertising, peer pressure, even the education system all conspire to teach that happiness comes from possessions, that success means wealth and fame, that pleasure is the highest good, and that the spiritual dimension of life is either irrelevant or embarrassing. Many parents try to counter this tide by forcing their children to attend religious services, memorize prayers, or follow rituals, Yet often these children, once they gain independence, abandon all spiritual practice because it was imposed rather than inspired. The conventional approach fails because it treats spirituality as a set of external behaviors to be enforced rather than as an inner reality to be awakened. From my earliest years, I observed that the most powerful spiritual education happens not through words, but through vibration. My own mother, though she passed when I was young, left an indelible imprint on my soul, not because she lectured me about God, but because her very presence radiated devotion, kindness, and an unshakable faith in divine providence. My father, stern and intellectual, taught me through his unwavering integrity and discipline that spiritual principles must govern one's life regardless of personal convenience. These were not lessons taught, they were lessons absorbed to the atmosphere they created. When I brought Kriya Yoga and the science of meditation to the West, I discovered that the same principle applies universally. Children learn far more from the vibrational frequency of their parents' consciousness than from any verbal instruction. Your child's subconscious mind, especially in the early years, is like soft clay. It takes the imprint of whatever vibration surrounds it most consistently. If you live in constant anxiety about material security, your child absorbs the belief that the universe is fundamentally unsafe. If you speak of spiritual ideals, but demonstrate through your actions that money and status are what really matter, your child learns that spirituality is mere words. But if you cultivate through daily meditation a genuine inner peace, if you demonstrate through consistent action that integrity matters more than profit, if you radiate the joy that comes from inner communion with God, your child absorbs these frequencies at the deepest level of their being, and no amount of materialistic propaganda can erase that foundation. The mechanism by which this transmission occurs is both subtle and scientific. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every action you take emits a specific vibrational frequency. These frequencies create an energetic field around you that others, especially sensitive children, unconsciously detect and respond to. When you meditate daily, when you practice the Han Sao technique of concentration or the sacred Kriya Yoga, if you have been initiated, you are not just benefiting yourself, you are purifying and elevating the vibrational atmosphere of your entire home. Your nervous system becomes calmer, your emotions more stable, your intuition clearer. This transformed state radiates outward like light from a lamp, and your children, living within that light, cannot help but be influenced by it. They may not consciously understand what is happening, but something in their soul recognizes here is peace, here is truth, here is something real that the world outside cannot give. This recognition, planted early and reinforced through years of consistent exposure, becomes the foundation upon which their own spiritual life will later be built. To raise spiritually minded children in a materialistic world, you must first become what you wish them to become. This is the supreme law of spiritual education. You cannot give what you do not have. If you yourself are anxious, reactive, and driven primarily by material concerns, no amount of religious instruction will make your children spiritual. But if you dedicate yourself to daily inner practice, even just 20 minutes each morning, everything changes. Begin your day before your children wake, sitting with spine erect in a quiet place. Close your eyes, focus gently at the point between the eyebrows, and practice conscious breathing, inhaling while mentally repeating Hong, exhaling while mentally repeating Sao, which means I am He, affirming your identity with infinite consciousness. As your breath becomes subtle and your mind grows calm, inwardly declare, Divine Father Mother, I am your instrument for these souls. Flow through me today. Let my presence be a blessing. Let my words carry truth. Let my actions demonstrate Dharma. This is not a passive prayer of hope. This is a command issued from the soul's authority, programming your subconscious to operate from spiritual consciousness throughout the day. When you emerge from this practice and greet your children, they will sense something in you that is different from the frantic, distracted energy most adults carry, and they will trust it. In Beisanen, the practical application of this principle requires both inner work and outer expression. On the inner level, make meditation non-negotiable, as essential as eating or breathing. Even 5 minutes of genuine practice is more powerful than an hour of distracted ritual. On the outer level, look for natural moments throughout the day to plant spiritual seeds, not through forced teaching, but through gentle, authentic sharing. When your child asks a question about life or death, about fairness or suffering, do not give a superficial answer or distract them with material comfort. Pause, breathe, touch your inner calm, and respond from the wisdom that flows when you are connected to something deeper than your ordinary mind. Share simple truths. Everything that exists is part of God. That tree, that bird, you, me, all connected. When you hurt someone, you hurt yourself because we're all one family. Or when a child fears the dark, close your eyes and feel the light inside your heart. That light is God, and it's always with you, brighter than any darkness outside. These small moments, repeated over years, build a spiritual foundation far more solid than any formal religious education. Itembo. Create simple rituals that involve your children without forcing them. Before meals, hold hands for a moment of gratitude, not a memorized prayer, but a sincere feeling of thanks for the food, for the love that prepared it, for the life force it contains. Before sleep, sit with your child for a few moments of quiet. You might softly say, let's thank the divine for today and ask for protection through the night. Keep it natural, brief, warm. In these moments, you are teaching that communication with God is not something formal or distant, but as natural as talking to a loving friend. As they grow older, if they show interest, you can share more, teach them simple breathing exercises for calmness, show them how to sit quietly and listen within, introduce them to inspiring stories of saints and masters, but never force. If a child resists, do not make spirituality a battleground. Instead, simply live it more deeply yourself, and in time, their own soul will call them back to what you demonstrated. The challenge of materialism is real, but you can address it without denying your children reasonable comfort or isolating them from the world. When they ask for the latest toy or gadget that all their friends have, you face a teaching moment. You need not always say no. Sometimes it is appropriate to give, but use these moments to plant awareness. We can get this, and I'm happy to give it to you, but I want you to notice something. After you get it, pay attention to how you feel. The excitement will fade in a few days or weeks, and you'll want something else. That's how material things work. They give temporary happiness. But the happiness inside, that comes from being kind, from doing something creative, from feeling close to God. That happiness stays. Both kinds are okay, but one is stronger than the other. As you grow, you'll learn which one matters more. This kind of teaching, offered with love rather than judgment, plants a seed that will sprout when the time is right. Use the sacred state of quietude, the 60 seconds before sleep, both for yourself and your children. After tucking them in, sit by their bed for a moment. With your hand gently on their head or heart, silently bless them. Divine Mother, Father, protect this soul, guide their path. Let them remember always who they truly are, your eternal child. You need not say this aloud. The intention and feeling are what matters. Your child, in that drowsy state between waking and sleeping, absorbs this blessing at the subconscious level. Then, when you yourself lie down to sleep, use those final 60 seconds to review your day as a parent without harsh judgment. Ask, where did I demonstrate spiritual values today? Where did I let materialism, fear, or ego control me? Where did I miss an opportunity to teach? Then gently declare, I am becoming a clearer channel of divine wisdom and love. Tomorrow I will serve these souls more consciously. For these nightly commands, impressed upon your subconscious in its most receptive state, gradually reprogram your automatic responses, making spiritual parenting more natural and effortless. Within 24 hours of beginning this practice with sincerity, you will notice subtle shifts. Perhaps a situation with your child that usually triggers frustration instead finds you responding with unexpected patience. Maybe your child asks a deeper question than usual. As if sensing your increased receptivity, you might feel a spontaneous impulse to turn off screens and spend quiet time together. These are not coincidences. They are signs that the vibrational field of your family is shifting. Your commitment to inner practice has altered the frequency you emit, and the entire system is beginning to respond. Do not expect dramatic overnight transformation in your children's behavior. Souls evolve gradually. But trust that every day you practice, every moment you choose consciousness over reaction, you are building a spiritual atmosphere that will shape them for life. Some parents worry, but my children are already teenagers, already influenced by peer pressure and materialism. Is it too late? I tell you, it is never too late for the soul. Even if your children are older and seemingly resistant to anything spiritual, the principle remains the same. Transform yourself first. Become so genuinely peaceful, so authentically joyful, so clearly guided by inner wisdom that they cannot help but notice. Teenagers especially can detect hypocrisy instantly. If you preach spirituality but live materialistically, they will reject everything you say. But if they observe you facing life's challenges with faith rather than panic, if they see you choosing integrity when it costs you, if they witness genuine happiness arising from your inner practices rather than external circumstances, something in them will recognize truth. They may not acknowledge it for years, but the seed is planted. The seed is planted. When life inevitably brings them difficulties that material solutions cannot solve, they will remember what they saw in you, and they will seek what you have found. I also encourage you to expose your children to spiritual community when possible, not forcing attendance at religious services that feel dead or hypocritical, but finding genuine seekers of truth with whom your family can associate. Children learn powerfully from observing adults other than their parents who embody spiritual values. When they see that mom or dad is not alone in valuing meditation, service, and inner growth, that there exists a whole community of people who live this way, it normalizes spirituality and makes it seem less strange or isolating. Yet be discerning. Choose quality over quantity. One afternoon spent with a genuine spiritual person is worth more than years of mechanical religious attendance. The greatest gift you can give your children is not protection from all materialistic influence, but the inner tools to navigate that influence with wisdom. You cannot and should not try to isolate them completely from the modern world. Instead, teach them discernment. When they watch television or scroll through social media, occasionally sit with them and gently point out, Notice how that advertisement tries to make you feel incomplete, so you'll buy something. Notice how that show glorifies selfishness and rudeness as if they're funny. You don't have to judge it or avoid it entirely, but be aware. Don't let it shape how you think without your conscious choice. This kind of media literacy, combined with a strong inner foundation from your own example, gives them immunity to manipulation. Remember always that your children are not truly yours. They are souls entrusted to your care for a time by the divine. They have their own karma, their own path, their own lessons to learn. You cannot force them to be spiritual, nor should you try. Your job is not to control their choices, but to provide an atmosphere in which their highest nature has the best chance to flower. Some children come into this world with strong spiritual tendencies from past lives. They will naturally gravitate toward inner things regardless of outer circumstances. Others have chosen incarnations focused more on action, achievement, or relationship. For them, spirituality may come later in life after they have exhausted certain material pursuits. Accept each child as they are and offer spiritual principles without attachment to results. As we conclude, I call you to make this commitment. For the next 30 days, dedicate yourself to daily meditation before your children wake. Use those minutes not to worry about them or plan your day, but to genuinely commune with the divine, to purify your consciousness, to become a clearer channel of spiritual vibration. Declare each morning, I am not just a provider of material needs. I am a guardian of immortal souls. Let spiritual wisdom flow through me today. Then watch, observe, and trust. You may not see instant dramatic changes, but you will notice a gradual shift in your own peace, in the atmosphere of your home, in the quality of interactions, and eventually in the values your children carry into their adult lives. Comment below. I unite with the divine, and my reality transforms to seal your commitment. Subscribe and activate notifications to continue receiving these sacred teachings. Share this message with other parents who struggle to raise conscious children in an unconscious world. And remember, the world's materialism is loud, but the soul's truth is eternal. When you embody that truth through daily practice and authentic living, your children will absorb it at levels deeper than any external influence can reach. May your home become a sanctuary where young souls remember their divine origin, even while learning to navigate the material world. May you become not just parents, but spiritual guides appointed by God Himself to shepherd these precious souls safely home.